Hey everyone, it's LockhartQT, and today we're going to be talking the first ever DLC maps for Black Ops 6 Zombies. So if you're brand new to the channel, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Let's get right into it. So long story short, if you guys aren't aware, recently a load of things were leaked for Black Ops 6, like we're talking in the past week, like things like some of the Easter egg steps and more. And don't worry, I'm not going to be even touching the Easter egg steps and leaks on this channel because I want to remain completely blind going into day one. I want a full Easter egg experience like classic Zombies. I don't want to know the Easter egg at all, but DLC maps have had a bit of a history with the Black Ops series of leaking early. Pretty much every single DLC map for every single game has leaked at some point. And I know a lot of you are sort of asking yourself now, when can we expect the first DLC map? Well, this was actually confirmed by Kevin Drew during the codenames livestream, and we can expect the first DLC map to release before the end of 2024. Now, if you had to ask me, I would say this is going to be possibly the end of November with the release of either Season 1 or Season 1 Reloaded, or it could be in December closer to Christmas, because we also know from leaks that we're getting the Jingle Hells mode returning from Cold War. If you guys weren't aware of what that mode was, it was essentially a Christmas themed map for the map Die Maschine, where the map was changed. You had like Christmas lights, you had antlers and Santa hats on zombies, as well as the playgrounds and things like that. So we know the first DLC map is expected before the end of 2024, but what are the maps actually going to be? Well, according to recent leaks, a lot of the code names and the actual strings for the files were leaked early. So basically, if you guys don't know, the DLC maps in terms of seasons have to be downloaded both as updates and as separate DLC, meaning that they have to be placed on things like the PlayStation Store, the Microsoft Store and the Steam Store. And recently, the Steam Store leaked a lot of code information specifically from the Call of Duty HQ launcher, specifically for Black Ops 6. And the 4 code names that were leaked are as follows: The Keep, Dig Site, Janus Towers, and finally, Mansion. Now, by the way, these aren't in order, and as well, again, these are subject to change. At the end of the day, these are just the code names. For example, a lot of Zombies maps in the past have used things like gemstones and colours. Treyarch tend to go with those two, really, more specifically for maps and games as well. So again, these are very much subject to change, so we're just going to have to wait and see if these are actually the maps that come out. So first off, let's talk about the Keep and what is the significance of the Keep in the context of the DLC maps. So in the leaked scripting for the Steam Store, the Keep is speculated to be a fortress or castle by the sea. Again, this could be possibly like a Janus fortress, like a Project Janus fortress. We know that Project Janus is going to play a massive role going into Black Ops 6 Zombies because it's in the Steelbook as well. Obviously, we've already had it referenced in the cutscene for Liberty Falls, and we're going to see Project Janus all over Liberty Falls as well as Terminus. So I feel like the Keep is going to be some kind of fortress. I don't know if it's going to be like an old castle. I'm really hoping it's not reusing a location from Warzone. However, Kevin Drew, the director of Zombies, has already come out and said that this year they aren't reusing Warzone multiplayer or campaign levels. They took the criticism from Cold War and Vanguard very much to heart, where they were reusing things like multiplayer maps and campaign levels. Pretty much all of the DLC maps for Cold War all reused campaign levels, so that's Firebase Z, Mauer de Toten, as well as Forsaken. So for Black Ops 6, apparently we're getting completely new maps. And again, when I think of the Keep, I either think of one or two things. I think of like a maybe Middle Eastern fortress, kind of like how we've seen in Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3's Warzone, or maybe even a medieval castle. Again, we've had Der Eisendrache in the past, but maybe we could have like an English medieval castle. That would be awesome as a Brit myself, so that would be awesome to see. Next up, let's talk about Dig Site. Now, Dig Site's a bit more interesting because a while ago, we also had a leak of a load of maps coming to Black Ops 6. Specifically, one of the multiplayer maps that was leaked was Dig, which, if you guys don't know, was in Black Ops 2. Dig was a multiplayer map in Black Ops 2, and it was also a remake of Courtyard from World at War. So I would be very shocked if we saw a World at War map remade as a Black Ops 2 map, then remade as a Zombies map. Like I said earlier, we most likely aren't getting multiplayer maps or campaign levels remade into Zombies. So let's talk about Dig Site. I think Dig Site is potentially going to be a location where Project Janus and Richtofen maybe have been uncovering like dark ether items and artifacts, possibly with like underground tunnels, ruins, and maybe like, I don't know, maybe the shovel making a return. We do know that Dig Site's actual like dig spots on the ground. You remember in Origins how you could go up and dig up weapons and ice staff parts and things like that. We know those are going to be returning in Terminus, so I feel like if you're going to have a map that literally has dig in the name, I feel like the dig spots from Origins kind of have to return here. But like I said, I think Dig Site would be one way of uncovering artifacts and maybe going tomb raiding and underground tunnels and ruins. And I'm hoping that Dig Site isn't just like a random dig site in America. I'm hoping they go a bit more fantastical with it and maybe make it like the pyramids of Giza, or maybe in Egypt and you're going through catacombs and mummies' tombs and things like that, and maybe that's what the dig site refers to. I think that would just be a bit more interesting than some random dig site somewhere in the world. I think having something like maybe Egypt or something Middle Eastern, I think that would be fantastic. Next up, let's talk about Janus Towers. So this is probably the I guess most interesting name out of the four, because we do know obviously Project Janus is going to be a massive thing within the story of Black Ops 6. We've seen it referenced all over the marketing material. Richtofen is obviously the director, he's the one sort of undergoing Project Janus. All we know is that Project Janus refers to something about gateways and portals. Again, one would speculate that has to do heavily with the Dark Ether. We also saw the end of MW3 Zombies, that Dr. Ava was researching Project Janus and then she got sucked into the mirror, into the portal, into the Dark Ether. Then we saw again Richtofen in the cutscene in his sort of mansion, which I'll talk about in a second. He was also sucked into the Dark Ether by Samantha. So again, Janus Towers, again this could be something like a skyrise building or maybe a large building. Again, we could see the return of elevators and keys from Die Rise. I think that would be really interesting. But yeah, Project Janus is probably going to be like towers of some kind or large skyscrapers, I imagine. People are speculating that because in the Liberty Falls gameplay, as well as in the cutscene, in the background of one of the shots we see a few towers, so people are speculating that we could be going there. However, for me, I personally don't think we're going to have like 3 maps set in Liberty Falls in America. I feel like that doesn't make any sense. For me, Zombies has always been fantastical and brilliant as a sort of globe-trotting adventure where you're going maybe Poland one map, then Germany the next map, then America the next map, and then, I don't know, Africa the next map. So I think obviously so far we've got Terminus, which is set in the Pacific Ocean. Then you've got Liberty Falls, which is set in West Virginia and America. So I feel like if maybe they do one map set in England, one map set in France, maybe one set in Egypt, and again they go from country to country rather than just having it all in America, it would just be really boring. But yeah, Project Janus is definitely the most interesting. If I had to speculate, I would say this is potentially DLC 4. I feel like the sort of grand conclusion to Project Janus would be in Janus Towers, if that is indeed the name of the map. Again, these are just code names, so these could not even be the names of the maps for all we know. Again, we're just gonna have to wait and see. So lastly, let's talk about codename Mansion. Now this is probably the one that's gotten people talking quite a lot as well, because in the cutscene for Liberty Falls, the opening cutscene, we see a mansion where Richtofen has his own Wunderwaffe DG2 by his bedside, and he's sort of running throughout. He's trying to get into an elevator frantically where he's taken by Samantha, and then we see that like massive orb that kind of looks like Sophia, kind of looks like the orb that was used to sort of capture the Forsaken, but not really. It looks like it's completely different at the same time, but it looks quite similar. It's an orb with like a sort of circle in the middle, but at the same time, this mansion, for a lot of people, it seems to not actually be a DLC map. Now, according to people that I've talked to that know sort of the string and code a lot better, apparently Richtofen's house or his mansion seems to be based on the currently not in use Hilltop House in Harper's Ferry, which is actually on the map in Liberty Falls, and apparently this might have something to do with the Easter egg. Now, in real life, this is actually an ex-hotel, so I wonder if this could have been maybe the hotel Ava was in the cutscene in Modern Warfare 3. It could literally be the same building. I think that would be very interesting. As you can see in the cutscene with Dr. Ava, it looks like a motel. But at the same time, when you guys think of zombies maps with mansions, obviously the first port of call is Dead of the Night. Dead of the Night is a mansion, and I feel like if they were going to remake any zombies maps, I feel like remaking Dead of the Night maybe as a zombies map for Black Ops 6 would be very odd indeed, as Dead of the Night is a very controversial map. I don't think they're going to remake Dead of the Night, by the way. I am just putting that out there. This is just pure speculation at this point, but yeah, apparently the mansion actually refers to just the actual building and location on Liberty Falls, and it's not really a DLC map. But at the same time, I would think, like I said earlier, I think it would be really weird if we had 1 or 2 or more maps based in Liberty Falls. It just wouldn't make sense to me. I think it'd be a lot more better, or I guess a harder pill to swallow, if Mansion was its own map, like the mansion we see in Liberty Falls. If that is its own map, and say for example the mansion map is DLC 4, and then potentially it is the last map. I feel like having one of the first maps in Liberty Falls and then having the last map in Liberty Falls would be better than having, say, DLC 1 and then DLC 3 set in Liberty Falls. It would just be really boring to have the same location again and again. So another question that a lot of people have are, who are the characters we're going to be playing as? Well, watching a lot of interviews with Kevin Drew, especially at codenames, when he's talking sort of operators and the Terminus crew, and by the Terminus crew obviously I mean like Carver, Weaver, Grey, Maya, and I do think that these are going to be the 4 characters we play as for the majority of the story. I feel like the only character that might be interchangeable is Maya. For example, we might have Maya for like 2 or 3 maps, and then maybe players like someone like Dr. Peck, for example. But at the same time, I also feel very much like we're going to get a set crew for pretty much every map. Treyarch have pretty much confirmed that. I would personally be okay with maybe 1 map having operators on it, maybe like a DLC 2 or DLC 3, but for me, majority of these maps have to have a set crew. I don't mind personally if it's not the Terminus crew. I would actually love if DLC 1 or DLC 2 or DLC 3 were a celebrity cast map like Call of the Dead, Mob of the Dead, Dead of the Night. I feel like that would be really great if we had a celebrity map once again. Maybe they could do something like a Rockstar map where maybe we're playing, it's something like Band of the Dead, or we're playing as famous musicians from the 90s maybe. I think that would be a cool idea for a map. But in terms of the string names, again, we could play something like Dig Site where we're playing as 4 celebrities on a dig site. I think that would be quite cool as well. But yeah, it does look like we're going to get a set crew for most of these maps, so that sounds really cool. It's really promising. I'm just so glad we're actually getting set crews back for once. Now lastly, I did just want to talk about something I touched on earlier in the video, being the Easter egg leaks. So I'm not covering them in this video, I haven't done thus far. However, I just want you to I'm just giving you a sort of warning here that a lot of the Easter egg steps and little side quests have already been leaked on Twitter. I'm not going to name individuals. If you follow the zombies community, you most likely know who they are, but a lot of Easter egg steps are being leaked. So what I'd say to do is, if you're really worried about getting those leaked, I would just like stay off Twitter for now, stay off X entirely, just purely because they are getting leaked, and the fact that we've had pretty much all of the campaign cutscenes leaked, and as well as dialogues within the map at Liberty Falls, I feel like a lot more stuff is going to be leaked for Terminus as well. So stay vigilant, and obviously if you want to go in blind like me, or as blind as you can, I would just stay off Twitter for now. Anyway everyone, thank you so much for watching the video today, and tell me in the comments below, what do you think about the 4 potential DLC codename maps coming for Black Ops 6? The Keep, Dig Site, Janus Towers, And finally, Mansion. What do you think they could be? What do you think they could be in terms of location and setting and weapons and characters? Tell me in the comments below. And what do you think they could be for the story going forward? Thank you so much for watching. I've been LockhartQT, and for more Black Ops 6 Zombies content, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.